Good morning, my loves. How are you today? It is straight up 7:30 a.m. Central Time, and we are gonna get started because there is a party happening in my kiddo's bedroom right now. So I want to make sure that we get this done before the party comes out here. So today we are talking about a super fun topic, anxiety, but I know that a lot of you struggle with anxiety on a regular basis. Sometimes it can be super overwhelming. Sometimes it can be super isolating. And I just want you to know that first of all, nothing has gone wrong here. Anxiety is your brain's way of having your back, or at least it used to be. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but there are ways to get immediate relief. So, first thing I want to talk to you about this morning is the role that your brain plays in anxiety. So that's what this is here. This is the motivational triad. This is your brain's way. This is its specialty. I'm obviously not a meteorologist. It does three things really well: seek pleasure, conserve energy, avoid pain. Okay, so all of those are things that your brain evolved to do to keep you alive, and all of them mean don't die. Seek pleasure because it feels good. Stay in the cave. It's safe. It's comfortable. Don't die. Avoid pain. Avoid saber-toothed tigers. Don't die. And conserve energy because you might have to run from a saber-toothed tiger, so don't die. Your brain catastrophizes naturally because it kept us alive. The way that it does that is when it senses danger, it immediately releases some hormones in your body that that's that fight, flight, or freeze reflex, okay? That's natural, except your brain can't tell the difference between a real, honest-to-God saber-toothed tiger staring you in the face and being worried about being late to work. It cannot tell the difference between a real or a perceived threat, so it releases the chemicals anyway, and boom, your body is already on that path. So what do you do when you feel anxious? There are eight, I can count, 8 tips that we're going to talk about today. And the first one I want to introduce to you is this one. This is the worry bucket. So a lot of us worry all the time, and sometimes it gets in the way of our work, it gets in the way of our productivity. We spend a lot of time during the day thinking about all the things that we need to do, and all the things that might go wrong. And so this is a really helpful tip when you need to get things done. You can give yourself time, set aside time, 15 minutes, 30 minutes out of your day where you literally sit down and worry, where you can think about everything that you need to do, all the things that could go wrong, and really sit in that super uncomfortable feeling. I know it feels like ass, but remember last week we talked about agency. I'm the one who's going to give you agency over your ass. I swear I'm going to put that on a business card. Agency over your ass. It feels like ass to worry all the time, but when you give yourself a set time, you're kind of letting your brain know, hey, I'm on to you. I know we've got worrying to do. We're going to do that. We're going to set time aside. And what happens is your brain goes, okay, we're going to worry in a little bit, but not right now. And it's able to move on and focus. But when you do set time aside to sit down and actually worry and create that feeling in you, it gives you agency. It gives you ownership. It shows you that you have power over your feelings. And all of the things that your brain wants to worry about through the course of the day, when you sit down and actually add those to even a physical list for your worry bucket, you start to see that maybe they aren't things that you need to worry about so much. So it immediately lowers the level of anxiety when you give it time, acknowledge that it's okay, it's natural, and you take agency or ownership over that. So that's the worry bucket. Give it a try. I've tried it before. It's weird, but it's cool. The next thing, we talked about this last week, is a body scan. So for any of you who've ever done meditation, or if you haven't, we're going to talk about it right now. When you are feeling super anxious, just notice how it shows up in your body. How does it feel on your face? When I'm anxious, it looks like this. This always happens. My shoulders are tense. My heart races, my chest gets tight, I get hot, my palms get sweaty. Do the body scan as soon as you notice you're feeling anxious, and it immediately flips the switch from you using your primitive brain to your prefrontal cortex. So you're doing some analysis. And again, it gives you agency over that feeling of ass. It gives you agency over your anxiety. You're in control. So you can still feel anxious, but when you notice how it feels in your body, it starts to change the part of your brain that you're using and immediately relieve some of those symptoms. Doesn't necessarily eliminate it, but it can help to acknowledge, oh, yep, I'm super anxious right now. That's why my heart's racing. That's why my palms are sweaty. And the next thing I want you to do you love my clever drawings here? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just breathe. And so some of us have a hard time like sitting at work. I actually tried this. I have an Apple Watch and I have a breathe app on my watch, and it has a reminder to sit and breathe for a minute. And I was sitting there doing that at my desk one day, and somebody stopped by and said, "What are you doing? Are you praying?" And I was like, "No, I'm breathing." So here's what I do. Here's a little trick that I will teach you. When I go into the ladies' room to take a restroom break where nobody can be witnessing my breathing, sometimes I just do a couple of deep breaths in there. Sometimes I go in there just to get away from people and take a couple of deep breaths. Put your hands on your belly. Breathe into your belly and then exhale super completely. Again, this is giving you agency over that anxiety, okay? You're immediately calming some of the hormones that your body's released and that you're feeling anxious because of, okay? So the next thing you can do to use your body to help you is this, also clever drawings here. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's a grounding technique. So when you're feeling super anxious, a lot of times our brains are stuck in this thought loop. Our minds are racing. So you can remember 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just find 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can touch, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can either say with your mouth or even taste. Like hot tea is always the anxiety crusher for me. But when you tune into your body and you use your senses, again, are you noticing a theme here? I'm giving you agency over that feeling of ass, okay? Agency over that anxiety. You are putting yourself in charge, your higher brain in charge, and getting some immediate relief. It doesn't necessarily eliminate the feeling of anxiety, but it lets your body know, hey, I got you. We got this. There aren't saber-toothed tigers right now, because remember, worry only pretends to be necessary. It seems super important, like saber-toothed tigers could be there, but most of the things that we face, we are not gonna die from. So, what's this? And this is my clever drawing. Anchor thoughts, okay? So last week we talked about that a little bit too. So my anchor thought right now is, no matter what happens, I'll figure it out. So when I start to get super anxious, this happens to me at work, this happens to me with my coaching business. Sometimes I just get all caught up in what if this happens and what if that happens. I can what if myself into a panic, no problem. But I have this anchor thought and it immediately calms me down. It's almost like a mantra. So I just tell myself, like, it doesn't matter what happens, I'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. No matter what happens, I will figure it out. And that calms me down. So this is kind of like going to your happy place. You know, you've heard people say, just go to your happy place. That's your anchor. That will help hold you in place. Will help keep you from spinning. Pick a thought that always feels good in your body. So you'll know if it's a good thought for you if when you think it, you immediately feel a physical release or relief in your body. If you think, my happy thought, my anchor thought, no matter what happens, I'll figure it out, and your brain goes, no, we never figure things out, that's too hard, and it feels like a scratchy sweater your grandma got you for Christmas, take that off, chuck that one and get a new one. That's not your anchor thought. But pick a thought, so that whenever you get caught in that thought error, that thought loop, you've got a thought that can calm you down. Along the list of how we use our brains to help manage our anxiety, I call it a love list or a gratitude list. So a lot of times when I'm laying in bed in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. seems to be the time that my brain has decided we should solve all of our problems right now. Actually, we should feel guilt and shame about all of them. We should ruminate about them. We stuck in some thought loops and think about all the things we've ever done wrong in our entire life. 3 a.m., not the best time for that. So what I will do sometimes is I will start a list of things I love, and it's a way of almost like self-hypnosis. So I will be like, oh, I love this comfy bed, I love this soft pillow, I love my kids, I love my family, I love my house, I love my job, I love I don't love winter. I love Christmas, I love Thanksgiving, I love chocolate, I love the color pink, I love the color purple, I love all of the colors. And when I start thinking about that, it's really, again, changing my brain and telling it, instead of all of the things that I don't love, like let's list all of the things that we do love. It just changes that focus, and your body, it releases different hormones that make you physically feel better. I don't know about you, but I love to think about all the things that I have in my life that I'm super grateful for. And when this didn't work for me and I would start running out of things, and I also tell myself, I'm not allowed to criticize right now. I'm just being grateful, just thinking about all the things I love. Because sometimes I would think about, oh, and I love that new shirt that I got. Oh, but if I would lose some weight, I wouldn't have to have a new shirt. I would get a different. And then I'm like, no. We're only thinking about the things that we love. And when I would get stuck on that, I would think about my children individually and think about the things about them that I love. Like I love their beautiful eyes. I love their hair. I love their smile. I love the way they smell when they come in from the outside. And as soon as I did that, that physical feeling of calm and relaxation would hit me, and I would have some relief, agency over my anxiety, okay? Let's see. So another thing that you can try is, do you love my terrible lotus here? Look, this is as good as it gets, people. Another thing that you can try is meditation. And a lot of us get super freaked out by meditation because we're like, look, my brain is already going crazy as it is. I can't just sit down and stop thinking. If I could, I wouldn't feel anxious, right? There's an awesome app that I highly recommend called Insight Timer, and there's tons of meditation apps. Look for guided meditation. So this is someone who's telling you exactly what to do. Your brain is getting something else to focus on. It's something that's super good, and it actually meditating changes your brain waves, which feels so great. I use specific meditations to fall asleep at night. I have different ones bookmarked that I love to help me go back to sleep when I wake up in the middle of the night, when my gratitude list doesn't work, when my worry bucket doesn't work, when my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 doesn't work. Sometimes I just get my Insight Timer app out. I find one of my bookmarked meditations and I let my brain focus on something else. And I cannot tell you how powerful that is. The last thing that I'm gonna talk to you about is go outside, be in nature. I know in the frigid Midwest, Mother Nature is slightly confused. This is still fall, but it's gonna snow this week, and it's been super cold already in November. I have lived in the Midwest my whole life. We've had Indian summers, just this year we had snow on Halloween. So, but if you have an opportunity, just get some fresh air. Go sit outside for a moment. If the weather's nice, I like to do a different kind of grounding, like literally take my socks and shoes off and put my feet on the earth. It is another thing that changes the hormones, the chemicals that are released in your body. And especially when it's super sunny out, the vitamin D that's released makes you feel better too. So those are 8 ways to manage your anxiety, to get you some immediate relief. If you have any more questions or you want any more help working on this, please send me an email at coach@thelifestylelifecoach.com, or hit me up on Facebook or on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram or Facebook, please do. I hope this was helpful for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit more about anxiety again next week, okay? Love you. Bye.